Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. This is the peace dealer, moon in Taurus, sun in Aquarius. We have a lot of squares. We're dealing with completing oppositions. Squares and oppositions, 90-degree and 180-degree angles in astrology indicate outside influences, oppositions, enemies, forces that conflict with your vibration. And so that is why the languaging I will be using will carry a lot of us versus them energy, not to take personally, but just to speak of the nature of how your vibration is dealing with other people. As that being said, you're claiming victory for activations of cosmic energy with the new moon in Aquarius that you're now grounding. This is very important because Aquarius of collective narrative versus Taurus of individual worth is clashing this whole notion of what you know, Aquarius, your worth, outside of other people from the outside looking in. Prejudices, discrimination, and all sorts of really skewed factors that go into someone's subjective and limited perception are everything you're going to feel, similar to David facing the giant of a collective consciousness that will be, of course, projecting all sorts of prejudices around their limited beliefs around who you are, what you should be, what you should do. Many of you are literally innovating what it means to be cool. Popularity for the longest time has been distorted through this popularity subjective base of basically like a contest, who likes more people. And when people don't like other people, they engage in manipulative tactics towards messing with, the whole nature of how people are accepted or not. You've seen this with cancel culture. What happens when you can't be canceled? What happens when you break through into how valuable you are, and that everything you contribute isn't because you need other people's attention, is because that's what you're giving. You've tapped into your inner world. You're not coming from a place of needing expectation and opinions from other people. You don't have an external locus of control, but you have an internal locus of control. What happens when the earned media you gain, or the desperate attempts for other people to manipulate others' perception of you, backfires every time? Because when people see from the source who you are, they realize, oh wow, this is nothing like what other people were talking about. It gives you a sense of comfort within your value. It gives you a sense of unfuckwittableness. It helps you understand your worth in the face and in the area of the collective, and it gives you license to whoop out your big fat dick, even if you have a clitoris, and let people know they can and will suck it, period. And that they can get in line, so that, since there's so many people who are on your dick, they're gonna have to fight amongst themselves with who's gonna do it first, because you're not gonna wait for everybody. Think about how stubborn, fixed, and extreme a personality like that is. That's what you're breaking in. And a lot of you are going to innovate this authenticity around what culturally isn't popular or cool, but because you're cool, because you're solid, because you aren't wishy-washy on trends. This sense of stability and authenticity does not matter around what other people think. That's really the division and square happening here. A lot of people will give into peer pressure versus a lot of people breaking through the pressure and crystallizing more of their spirit. The moon squared 28 degrees Pluto. That was a test to make sure that when you're psychically attacked with this authenticity, this baby like 0 to 2 year old wonder of what you can be, the collective peer pressure of Pluto, the traditions and the mainstream that projects this collective narrative against this expression of individuality that's not like they want. Will you back down? Did you back down? Did you feel shame and guilt, which Pluto in Capricorn organizes as guilt shame matrix, shame Scorpio, Pluto ruled, and guilt Capricorn? Did you let that guilt shame matrix deter you from being all you feel you can be? Or did you shrink back and be like, okay, I won't be as weird? Because if you shrinked back, you played yourself. If you broke through and said, hey, you could just suck my dick, bitch, then you are manifesting and have drawn through. It's very important. It's psychological. So it's based on how you actually show up. Do you put your head down, or do you walk tall in the face of people that don't like you? Because there's nothing their energy can do with you, especially if you got God. There's nothing thing you have to be afraid of with people who are afraid to share how they really feel to your face and instead do stuff behind your back. They're cowards, they're weaklings, they're losers. As much as they may think that's you, you actually have receipts. They preach to a choir. You don't have to preach to an echo chamber. You can handle it directly with them. That's why they don't want that smoke with you. That's why they don't want that smoke with you. That's why they don't want that. Cool. So now you're getting ready to square the moon with Aquarius, which is now more of a collective narrative around your own individual worth. It doesn't matter if you put out music and 500,000 people or a majority of people don't like it. It matters about the quality. And the fact that the few people who did listen to it or who do rock with it, people unrelated to each other who don't know each other, all say it's quality. Versus someone who's accepted popularly and like millions of people buy their stuff, but it's basura. The shit is trash. Okay, which one would you rather be? Unfortunately, a lot of people would rather be the popular ones. They don't want to put out quality. They don't want to put out value. They just want to put out these very viral messages to sound spiritual or sound like they're saying stuff because it's going to get people talking. But what work did you do? That's why shout out to the fucking Trap Witch. And I said this before, but Trap Witch as an Aquarius too is a voice of a generation. If you think about people like her and what she represents, you're bridging this traditional religion with this new culture and this field that's laden with frauds. You're seeing people who do the work, people who talk about spirituality and people who talk about the gods versus people who practice it. I've been reading astrology for 10 years. I have 2 astro.com accounts that both have over 1,000 charts. I'm not just on the internet talking about the stars. I practice it. I'm practicing. I do this shit. I've been initiated in Palo. I've been fucking with the dead for years. I'm not these people who put up these posts like, oh, what about the dead or theories? We live this shit. And there's a difference in quality. You can fucking feel it. Okay? So this is where does it fucking matter what other people think from the outside looking in? They haven't done their research. They haven't done their credentials. Because if they researched you, they know you about it. Okay? And this is just based off your work speaking for itself. If you know you got it, the test of this is to maintain that inner feeling of value, even if everybody wants to act like you don't got it like that. Because if you do give in, you're gonna be the idiot who has literal pearls and you're around swine and they don't see the value of these pearls. Does that make the pearl any less valuable? Okay, don't play yourself. Because for those of you who don't play yourself, this is it. The spaceship is landing. The moon is sextiling Venus and Neptune, and you're going to be able to take figurative elements and concepts of your imagination you activated, and the integration is now personalizing it. It's real. The spaceship of your higher self is landing in your vessel. The idea and knowledge of who you truly are as a God and creator is now downloading the information you got mentally, and it is now physically through your 5 senses housing this in your physical vessel. This is where dark forces through mainstream bullshit false narratives and this whole false quasi need to be cool and accepted will gaslight people out of accepting their eccentricities and uniqueness out of fear of being not popular, not cool. Majority of people don't even know what the fuck their moon sign is and the need to actually be astrologically literate. This is a campaign that I'm going to push for. You learn how to read and count numbers so you can learn how to read the charts. If you don't know what the lunar cycle means, like if you don't know what moon sign it's in right now, and if you don't know how to read transits, if you don't know your chart, you are astrologically illiterate. And there's no such, you don't say you're mathematically illiterate, you just say you're illiterate. When you can't read, you don't say you're grammatically illiterate, you just say you're illiterate. If you can't read transits, my friend, you're illiterate. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Before I knew how to do this, I was illiterate. When I learned how to do this, changed my life. I was no longer illiterate. So like, don't let people who haven't done the research and know your craft and what you do try and play you like they're not fucking illiterate. And if you're listening to illiterate people tell you what to do with your life or give you this kind of prejudice around what you do with your life, that's on you. That's on you for listening to dumbass motherfuckers. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Tap into your value and show the world why it is you're here, why they need you. Okay? Because that's what's actually going to happen with this transit. You're going to slay the giant of this collective narrative, and you're going to reverse the fact that you don't need other people. They need you. And this isn't just me talking about this. You have specialized skills and abilities no one else can do. And if you don't believe me, try and find someone else who can do it like you. Try and find someone else. In fact, that's your homework. Try and find over the next 2 days who else can do you better than you. Who can do what you do like you. See if you can find even one, and if you can, let me know. You're gonna find you can. So don't let the dark side of the collective take away the treasure that is your soul. This sextile to Neptune is going to, as you maintain this value, feel the dream real. If you give into the peer pressure that pressures you to lose sight of your value, you're going to unravel the manifestation. For those of you who make it through this, you'll be good. The last test is the Moon in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces, which is just lies about you, just delusions about you, and just maintaining the truth. You don't have to owe anyone an explanation. People who, namaste, respect you and come at you equal are the only people that you can actually owe anything to, and you can actually do whatever to. Anyone beneath you that's lowering themselves because of prejudice and whatnot, tell them to eat a dick, piss on them, spit on them. And I know that's not spiritual, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not spiritual. Y'all see me talk about astrology and think that I'm some spiritual guru. I'm a scientist. Fuck what these fake scientists are talking about, don't know their moon sign. Astrology is the one true original science. That's why I just talked about the mathematics. Y'all can handle the spirituality on your own. I'll bring spiritual themes to this. Spirituality is just breathing. How do you breathe? This shit is science, baby. And thank you very much. So other than that, tap into this treasure within you, yo. You have so much value inside, and you're gonna understand relative to this higher knowledge of what you've activated since March, what that is. Taurus season was where you planted the seeds of this value, and Scorpio season is where you struck oil and the seeds harvested. Aquarius season is the finishing of this harvest, where you're coming into the total knowledge of what you're actually worth. Own it. Own that shit. Okay? Because it's yours and no one can take it from you. And so when you infuriate the collective that everything they're doing and the dark magic they're doing doesn't even work on you because you're tapped into your value, you're going to prove to yourself and everyone else you've always been unfuckwittable, and nothing can stop you unless you let it happen. When you got God, who can be against you? The trine of Mercury is going to help strengthen your brain's processing of organizing the processing function intellectually of using superpowers. This is your brain literally tying in the neural pathways Aquarius is manifesting to use superpowers. And this understanding of your value will strengthen your physical stance, because all this is pipelining to Taurus so you can manifest in your vessel your God self. The last stage of this is Pisces season, where now we've downloaded the operating system and we're experiencing it through software, magical spells that we develop. I did that. Magic Moon message. This is your host, Peace Dealer, the Peace Dealer. Thank you guys so much for all the support and the love. I love it every time. I love where we're going with this. Okay, the moon going over Uranus in the North Node is going to innovate this so drastically that if you get caught up in other people's opinions on you, you're going to miss the magic. This is only just to distract you. Don't pay attention to bums who are not even worth a nickel of your time. Bars. Godspeed. Until next time.